Hi everyone, it's Brown Jack, quarterback. In this video I'm going to be discussing TJ Dillashaw's mentality, and I'm going to delve very deep back into the Ultimate Fighter days and discuss his comeback now after the Henry Cejudo loss, the EPO drug suspension, and his fight against Corey Sandhagen this Saturday. Just wanted to say I'm going to try and add some timestamps so that you guys can cut to the chapter you may want to skip to, just in case you may not be interested in the earlier stages. And I want you to just consider these three questions on the right. Is TJ worth backing? Is this the comeback we as fans are drawn to? Or is it once a thief, always a thief? Hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's break it down.
I'm TJ Dillashaw, training out of Sacramento with Team Alpha Male.
Just to give you some context here, Team Alpha Male was a large gym at the time run by Uriah Faber, who manages these fighters, recruits them out of high school, college, and trains them and grooms them into the UFC.
I've been training for a year and a half, MMA, wrestling my whole life.
It's good too.
Out. He's out. TJ Dillashaw. Welcome to the team.
I think Dillashaw is their best fighter. I think he's got their best chance of moving on to the semis.
Moving on to the live finale. Dodson versus Dillashaw.
Okay, so far we don't learn so much about him personally because the Ultimate Fighter is designed to show off their fight skills, and he wasn't involved in any controversies or loud arguments or any kind of drama scenes, but he comes from a reputable camp that provides a lot of prospects, that's well trained. Just attaching your name to Uriah Faber will instantly give you a good reputation in the MMA fighters community. Michael Bisping picks him first and his teammates believe in him, so what we can safely assume is that he's a hard worker, someone who's laying low, getting his work done. He's still new to the game, like he said, 1.5 years, and a good prospect. Okay, so unfortunately TJ Dillashaw loses this fight by a knockout in the finale of the Ultimate Fighter.
I'm TJ Dillashaw. I'm training at Team Alpha Male. I'm fighting Wael Watson.
South from his home at Team Alpha Male for some work at Rafael Cordero's Kings MMA.
Rafael is such a humble guy, shows you the best technique. You know, it's one of the best places I've ever trained. I had a connection with Mark Munoz. Other than being down here training at Kings, Team Alpha Male, the gym there, I got the best.
Okay, so this is his first interview as a professional UFC fighter, and we could just see that he's all about his team. You know, he pumps up his team. He talks about Kings MMA, where he's learning. He's a student of the game, a hard worker, and someone to look out for, someone under the radar, basically.
You know, it's a game. Even the people on your team, you're competing against them. So people are trying to stab you in the back, talk crap.
Okay, now of course, because he trains with so many veterans, he's adopting a veteran mindset, which is, I need to look out for myself, even if it's for entertainment, even if it's for TV, even if it's for a team. So he's a bit wiser than we would initially assume.
Easy. I'm probably 46, 47, so I'm only 10, 11, 12 over. I could go 25s if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
In the ranks and moved up towards the title shot.
That's something I have to think about later on down the road, but I'm really not too worried about it. I feel like Uriah's got, a couple good fights left in him. He's got Joseph Benavidez at 25s, and another one of my top teammates is going to have the belt after here shortly.
Okay, so I just threw in the weight clip about 125 pounds because I just found it quite a coincidence that he ends up having a massive link to the 125 division. But all in all, he's a guy who lifts up his teammates. He's talking about Joseph Benavidez, Uriah Faber, and how his camps are amazing, and how he would even maybe change weights just to not fight them if they're all gonna converge at the same point. Basically making him a solid team player. He's been trained well, he's been mentored well, coached well, and he's clearly someone who cares about this team. You know, he's doing service for them, and he's continuing to rep them everywhere he goes.
Uriah is a huge mental kind of a coach if he doesn't even know it himself. You know, he just kind of portrays mental strength to all of us. And
okay, so in this time, TJ Dillashaw's been in the trenches fighting, and he's seen his head coach, the guy who recruited him out of high school, Uriah Faber, lose to the current champion Barao twice, and he's managed to work his way up to a title shot himself. So he's seen the worst of this, but he's still a man on a mission. He's working silently, he's working in the dark, and that's what makes him very dangerous.
everything I've learned from them, and then by them pumping me up, it's just giving me the utmost confidence. You know, if I'm able to hang with those guys in practice and how highly they talk of me, it just kind of proves that I am where I belong.
Okay, now after going on the Ultimate Fighter and suffering such a devastating knockout in the final round, you could be completely broken by that, but it appears as though Uriah Faber and the team have rebuilt this guy. You know, they've given him the right confidence. They've built him mentally to tackle such a massive challenge. And at this time, Renan Barao was on a 32 win streak. You know, no one thought TJ Dillashaw could win this fight, but they've managed to craft the idea that he can win this, you know, and he even seems like he's saying here, I wasn't sure, you know, I wasn't 100%, but they gave me the confidence, they gave it to me. And that is a matter of a fact as well, because when other people believe in you, it does give you strength. It does give you strength even if you don't believe in yourself. Sometimes that's all you need.
Duane Ludwig was your striking coach, and he just recently left. Where there's friction in the camp with that, has that caused any hiccups with the...
Okay, now it was said that in the early days of Team Alpha Male, a bunch of these fighters would just spar. That was their training. They were literally just beating the crap out of each other every training session, until Uriah Faber started to add some structure, bring in some coaches and bring in some trainers. He ended up bringing in a striking coach named Duane Ludwig, who's trained under the Barao system of fighting. And Duane Ludwig came in and ended up having a friction with Uriah Faber. But watch this next question here and how quickly TJ defends Duane.
Training?
Duane has not left yet. His last job is my fight. I'm definitely going to continue to train with Duane. I'll cross-train with him. I'm going to fly him out for my fights, and he's still going to be in my corner every fight.
Okay, now none of us know exactly what happened behind closed doors, but it does come to light later that Duane and Uriah had a pretty messy situation going on. However, we understand that TJ has always been a team player. He's always been a guy who sticks up for the team. And whether Duane and his friend has a problem with Duane, TJ is still going to stick by people who care about him, who instill confidence in him, and he's going to support them back. So that's why I believe he's sticking up for Duane here, and he must obviously be getting some results with Duane and sees it as a better fit for him, which is nothing wrong with that.
I am absolutely 100% sold on Renan Barao. I think he's the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world.
Longest undefeated streak in the history of the UFC. His striking is as explosive as we've ever seen inside the octagon.
I'm not going to lie to you, this was a very hard sell by the UFC. TJ Dillashaw was a massive underdog going into this fight, and fair play to him because he was a plus 600 underdog and he still managed to get the job done in very convincing fashion.
It's some exciting time coming up, not only because we're going to get a belt with Duane. Can't wait to hold it.
Obviously, many of them have gone for titles. Chad Mendes, Uriah Faber, Joseph Benavidez. Have they given you advice on how to handle this whole week?
Just not to look into the fight too much and believe in yourself, and just to react, kind of do what you do its best, and don't be intimidated. But ultimately, I'm going to prove everyone wrong and walk out of there the UFC champion tonight.
He's the best in the world, and that's what brought it out of me. You know, it's what brought the best out of me is because I knew I was fighting the best. I had to bring my A game to be the champion of the world, and it happened, baby!
Okay, now I remember in this moment, there was no way in hell I was picking TJ to win, but when he did, it was such a feel-good story, even for the team, because he finally busted through. You know, it felt like whenever anyone had won their first ever championship in any sport, whether it's basketball, NFL, or soccer, whatever it may be, that first championship for the franchise or the player, it's so important for the entire team, and it lifts so much morale. You can see his coaches celebrating in the back. It's amazing.
I'm going to continue to train with Team Alpha Male, but I'm going to cross-train with Duane. You know, I'll go out and train with him on my when I don't have a camp, and I'll fly him out when I'm in camp. I'm going to continue to work with Duane. He'll be in my corner, and I got to stay with Team Alpha Male. I mean, they've got me where I'm at, and they're the best sparring partners you can get.
Now, in this moment, TJ is basically thinking, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to do exactly what I was doing, train exactly with the coaches that I had at this camp, because this was supposed to be Duane's last camp, but no, I'm going to keep Duane, I'm going to keep Team Alpha Male. I just won the belt, I'm going to keep going with this. This is the first instance where we see TJ is actually thinking about himself, it appears, in publicly anyway.
In addition to that, we have our new Vice President of Athlete Health and Performance, Jeff Nowitzki, fighter health and fighter safety. We also promise to deliver a comprehensive anti-doping policy that we believe positions our organization as a global leader in sport.
Okay, now directly after the USADA program begins, TJ fights Renan Barao for a second time and absolutely puts on a clinic and just smashes him, and his confidence is just beaming. He's still got a Team Alpha Male coaches in his corner, he's got Duane Ludwig in his corner, and he is just absolutely beaming. It appears as though Duane's actually changed him, whatever foundation that Team Alpha Male built, Duane really enhanced that and made it better physically, emotionally, psychologically, and has made him into such a great champion mentality wise.
Very productive year and a half for sure. I'm much happier helping people achieve their goals, which their goals become my goals.
This is such a great statement by his head coach. That's someone who's really being a ride or die coach for his student. And if you've ever had goals in your life, you know how hard it is to have someone align with you and fully commit and sacrifice and compromise in order for you to achieve your goals. That's a full-on service, Even your own family members, a lot of the time, they don't even believe in your goals. So this is a really special partnership that they have. We find out it flourishes into something spectacular.
But the guy you brought up touched it. Right, TJ? TJ's here with us. Little snake in the grass he is. He's a little snake in the grass.
For Conor to act like he knows what our situation.
Has he got Duane with him? Him and Duane, come over, take over the show.
Any way, shape or form. I certainly feel TJ is a little snake in the grass. He's in here for his own benefit. So I simply told that to him, and the truth can hurt.
That's why I can't let you sit and talk about TJ without saying something, cuz boy, that's loyalty.
What, you gonna do something about it? What are you gonna do?
I'll do something about it.
Well, do something then. Do something then. Do something then.
Okay, so while there is some indication that the split wasn't very amicable, but TJ is still kind of floating around both camps on social media, and in interviews he's saying, I'm with Duane, I'm with Team Alpha Male. Conor McGregor, he appears to open up the small crack here and make it public, and fans really got behind this clip and started to alienate and feel alienated by TJ just because of the picture that Conor McGregor painted here. That's how powerful he was at the time with his words. He was able to take a situation that was very small and basically private and turn it into a massive issue and completely paint TJ with a very dark brush. We also see TJ's teammates actually stand up for him here, which is ironic because TJ ends up fighting the guy who even backed him up, Cody Garbrandt.
Ah, there's a little snake in the grass right there. Yeah, I'd like to congratulate you and your coach, Duane. Great win, man. Well done.
Appreciate it.
Uriah thinks Duane's a snake, though. What do you think of that?
Different opinions,
So you're with Duane?
Yeah, man, he's a good coach.
And what,
No, I'm still there, dude.
No, you ain't still there. Duane came in and held pads for a week, and you went and ran off with him. That's your opportunity. He came in and took you and got out of there.
This is the beginning of TJ's uncomfortability. He understands that he's in a hot spot with two people that he cares about that don't like each other. In this instance, Conor's creating the one thing he was trying to avoid, which was a spotlight on him being the person who created a rift or maybe enhanced the rift. And he always was trying to avoid that because he cares about both parties so much. But Conor will not let it go, and he's clearly uncomfortable here.
Because he's facing stationary targets. So he's been able to look a lot better than he really is.
He's just a talker, man. He's just gonna try to overanalyze this because I don't need to.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
Because you're scared to eat your words.
All right, man.
So say
Fair
it.
enough.
Tell me.
I don't
me
need to.
Because I'm better than you.
I would have told you to
because
knock your ass out.
Me.
You got some holes in your game, man.
That's all you got to say? You got no reasoning. You got no backup. You got holes in your game and I hit harder than you. Those are both opinions. There's no fact. What's the facts you have stating why you're going to do what you're going to do?
I'm breaking records for significant strikes landing.
Yeah, you're a dangerous fighter against stationary targets. I'd love to be able to fight, and I'm going to fight you, and I'm going to school you on January 17th.
We will see.
Okay, so Dominick Cruz, who is the consensus best bantamweight of all time, because of his massive injury spread, where he was gone for about 4 years, it was almost forgotten about because Barao had taken over, won the interim belt against Faber, and then was announced as the real champion because of Dom's inactivity. And I think TJ is coming from a perspective here where I've just beaten the pound for pound GOAT, Barao, who the hell are you? You've just come back, no one knows who you are. The thing that TJ wasn't anticipating here was the mind games by Dominick, and Dominick is an absolute master at the mind games. He's clearly defeated him here, and even by TJ answering his questions, I always find that when you're asking the questions in the press conference, you're putting the pressure on your opponent, but TJ seems flustered here and he doesn't really know what to say, and he's like, I don't want to talk and I want to talk, but Dominick still gets him to talk, and TJ did later admit that the trash talk did actually affect him in this fight.
No? So Faber wasn't relevant?
No.
He was your teammate?
He's not.
But you've
He
always
showed me
been
the
beating him
ropes.
up, right? You've always been
I
beating up
actually
all
have.
your teammates, huh?
Yeah, I've been doing a great job, yeah. That's why I believe in
interesting.
myself.
So you were always thinking you were better than all your teammates the whole time.
You got to believe in yourself,
But you
man.
were supposed to be their brothers or something.
I am. They're my family. I love those guys.
It doesn't seem like it. You're just talking about beating them up for 4 years straight.
Because of the natural frustration that Dominick Cruz has caused TJ, he also opens up the wound even further that Conor McGregor exposed and gets TJ to react emotionally to his questions regarding Uriah Faber. When TJ answers brashly and basically comes across as who cares about Uriah Faber, then he tries to walk it back. Oh, they're my family. I know I love those guys, because he's realized that, oh my God, I've said the wrong thing in the public eye. And then Dominick Cruz goes on an onslaught on TJ's personality, his character, and shames him.
You're fake, man. You're a fake person. You pretend to be cool with people, but you're not. And that's why I don't mind talking to you, because you're fake. You're not real, man. You're like Mr. Nice Guy, but it's not real.
Can't come soon enough, man. I'm ready to
We're starting to learn more about the selfishness of TJ Dillashaw here, how really he just cares about himself now. All that team talk, all the messy breakup, it appears to have come to light, and he's almost exposed it in this interview here. I just want to state that there's nothing wrong with being selfish. Of course, it may turn off some fans and you may have a dislike for him now. But in terms of what he should be doing, what is best for his own career, because this is an individual sport at the end of the day. Whether he's going about it the right way or not is something to debate over, but he's not necessarily wrong in being selfish.
For Dominick Cruz, what was the thought that went through your mind?
Very disappointed, man. I thought I had that fight. I thought I was the aggressor. I thought I pushed the pace. I scored the bigger shots. You know, I felt after the last 2 rounds I won pretty decisively. I feel like I had the fight won. Props to Dominick Cruz for coming back for what he's done, man.
I do feel like I won the fight. You know, just pressure alone and controlling the octagon and landing the bigger strikes. You know, I know he got a few takedowns that I don't really feel like should be scored that great with scurry out. You know, he wasn't doing nothing. He was running.
Okay, this is the first time we've seen TJ handle a loss publicly, because when he got knocked out by Dodson, we didn't get an interview from him, and he actually lost to Rafael Assunção on his way to the Renan Barao title, but we didn't hear from him still because it was a fight that was low down on the card. So this is almost the beginning of his next rebuild here, so we need to see what he's made of, because the alpha male relationship is tearing apart. Now it's a new rebuild with a new coach, and we're going to see what happens, because he's reached the mountaintop and he has to bounce back.
TJ Dillashaw getting set for his rematch with Rafael Assunção.
Absolutely, I thought that would be after I beat Cruz, that'd be my next fight, you know. And I did beat Cruz, but I still got this fight. But I decided to avenge another loss that I feel like I didn't get. I got to get better and better every fight. You got a target on your back at all times. You know, I still feel like I'm the best in the world. I still got that belt around my waist and my head. So.
With fighters, they need something to cling on to, something that they can use as fuel, that they can justify in their head to believe that they are the best in the entire world. Now, I understand he's making excuses or he hasn't owned up to that loss, but at least he's using something. Rather than saying that the system's against me or the judges don't like me, he still believes he's the best. He believes, though, yes, I got robbed, but I'm still the best. So at least that's good to see. He's not a shaken man in his head.
An 8-fight win streak, and it was nice to get that win back that I thought I had 3 years ago.
Where do you fall into that?
I'm the champion. That's my belt. You know, he knows I won. I won that fight. I want my belt back. I'm coming for that title.
After defeating Assunção in the rematch, he ends up fighting John Lineker, even though he feels as though he deserves a title shot, especially after a close match with Cruz. This is what he had to say after defeating Lineker.
You know, John Lineker's a beast, and like I got to go out there and be smart to dominate another number 2 like that, 30-26. I mean, I feel like it's the biggest statement I can put out there. Yeah, no other fight. I mean, I thought there was no other fight after me. I let my last fight as well. So keep asking me if I don't get the title fight next. We know it's rigged, you know, and they're trying to screw me on purpose. So I mean.
Okay, so on the same night where TJ defeated John Lineker, he had to go backstage and then watch his former teammate Cody Garbrandt fight Dominick Cruz for the World Bantamweight Championship. He's now showing that his confidence that stemmed from the Barao 2 fight has sort of bled into arrogance with his last 3 fights against Cruz, Assunção and Lineker. He's got an entitled sort of a mentality that I deserve this, I deserve that. However, usually when we see this, it's by inactive fighters who are waiting for an opportunity or a title fight. He is still talking the talk, but he's also walking the walk with his last 2 wins. So fair play to him. He's still displaying action.
Welcome back to The Ultimate Fighter.
Duane Ludwig and Uriah didn't see eye to eye. Uriah gave me an ultimatum. You know, he told me I can either choose Team Alpha Male or I can choose Duane Ludwig. And as soon as someone gives you an ultimatum, you know that guy doesn't have your back.
I believe accepting the Ultimate Fighter role for TJ was the best move he could have made. It was probably very tense for him to do so, and the uncomfortability and anxiety he must have had, because he knows he's going to get into these discussions that he was avoiding for so long on a public platform with the people that he used to basically be brothers with. However, he does a perfect role here. He takes a back seat and allows the alpha male smear campaign, the bullying tactics and verbal abuse on his character to unravel for everyone to see. Now, while this does change the opinion in some fans' eyes, and some fans did decide to ride with TJ after this, including myself, TJ also got confirmation that these are definitely not the people that he should be with. He learned even further about their character, the way they treated him, and how they would basically slander his character non-stop for the entire duration of this show, thereby reaffirming that he did make the right choice in moving to Duane's gym.
He got what he got.
He's smart, man. Real original.
Yeah, you
can't touch your mouth control insults.
Yeah, go for it, bitch. Go for it. Oh, doing what, bitch?
What?
You didn't do nothing. I'm so scared. So scared.
Keep me in line.
Step out of line, you get snapped up again.
He's selling me out before anybody.
All you
anybody.
Yeah,
and you asked dude. And Uriah just, couldn't take it. Couldn't take that I chose Duane over him and kicked me off the team.
I'm saying you're telling the truth.
That's a lie.
As he's telling, no, you're the fakest person here, so don't try to spin that off.
I'm married to you guys, but I got this new chick. She's hot. I'm gonna be walking around with her. I may come in town and slap you around a little bit.
Insecurity for sure.
What world champ you got?
Damn.
What world champ you got?
TJ. He ain't the world champ. I'm the real champ.
Dwayne, check your out, bro.
Too.
That's kind of dude. That doesn't work out.
You guys are embarrassing,
He's a
man.
cheater.
What? Why are we embarrassed?
Look how you handle yourself.
Quit
Yeah.
I'll let you tell I want.
You're
scared. Hey, easy. Easy.
And talk that I'm a different person on and off camera, so I can find him right there.
No, you won't. You didn't do. You come in and push
Big time. I'm gonna bully you, bro. I'm gonna bully you.
I hope you tried to. I hope you tried to.
I think we can all relate to TJ's position here, where you just want to shut this guy up so badly, but not with your words. You really want to let him have it, and I feel as though this is what he did. Bruce Lee even said, the most dangerous person is the one who listens, thinks, and observes. Now, that's not exactly 100% what's going on here, but it's definitely more skewed towards TJ's direction than Cody's.
Everything. Yeah, it's on everything.
I'm on everything. Come and they test me every day, so come on, I'm on everything.
Funny, you're the one that showed everyone how to do it on Team Alpha Male.
I'm the one that's now bringing
look
it
at
in.
him.
Yeah.
Bros.
All right, gentlemen. Fit the rules of open. Oh, okay.
This is the reaction of a guy who's been attacked by absolutely everyone. The fans, his old team, Conor McGregor, Dominick Cruz. And this is the reaction of someone who has so much pressure on his shoulders that's finally been lifted. There's no arrogance here. This is pure relief. 100 would not want to do this one time in their life, really stick it to their rival. It's completely justified. He allows this for 1 second to take over his body, but he does shake hands with Cody after the fight.
At the Bantamweight Championship rematch.
The previous narrative to this fight was about TJ's change in camps, whether he made the right decision, and he seemed to close that chapter with his knockout over Cody. When the UFC ordered an immediate rematch, of course TJ's been training here, so in the press conference there, the things they say are going to be far more outlandish. However, his mentality is more about how he whooped Cody's ass, and now he's going to do it again. So the arrogance is starting to come back, rather than the last fight where he was sort of the baby face going in.
Absolutely, man. I'm about to give him coast-to-coast ass whooping.
I'm gonna make him go face down, ass up once again. This time he can tell me how the canvas smells at the Staples Center instead of Madison Square Garden.
Oh, please, shoulda, coulda, woulda. What was going to come?
Okay. I already have him face down, ass up, asking for more.
I take care of him.
Okay, you're making excuses with your pussy-ass little back.
But I'm here.
Maybe if Uriah wasn't holding on to your coattails so bad, you wouldn't have broke your back.
Run it back.
Once again, TJ defeats Cody via TKO stoppage. The rivalry is over now. TJ acknowledges this. He's moved past it, and he's moving on to bigger and better things now. He's officially put this to bed.
Champion of the world, TJ. Feels good and always, man. I gotta say my bang Muay Thai is tight. Oh, he cut me good, you know.
Best bantamweight of all time.
I am the best bantamweight of all time. That's it, the best bantamweight of all time, here, right now.
Henry Cejudo won the flyweight title before this fight and said that he wants to come up and fight you at 135 pounds.
Bring it, baby. Let's do this.
It's pretty fancy.
Hey, let's all count how many times you can talk about his gold medal during this press conference. It's about my legacy. It's about feeding my family, feeding my son down there. You know, I'm chasing the second belt. I'm chasing the spot. I'll do whatever.
This is for the guys. This is for all the flyweights. I'm not doing it just for me, man. I'm doing it for everybody. I'm doing it for all the 125.
And that's your problem. So you know. I'm doing this for myself. This is a selfish sport. I'm going out there and I'm winning for myself. I'm gonna be the greatest.
And that's exactly who he is. And that's exactly who he is. You have friends like Joe Benavidez. You have guys like Shorty Torres living with. These are all flyweights, bro. Where's your respect, man?
It's your fault. They offered you a fight at 135s, you little bitch, but you wouldn't accept it. So I'm the one coming down to fight.
No, because they wanted to get get rid of the division.
Have you fight Dillashaw at 35s? Oh no.
They wanted to get rid of the division at 135 pounds, and I said no. I says, you know what? Bring him down. Bring him down. I want to defend my title, and then after that, I'm gonna get my rematch, and then I'm gonna take your belt.
Now that he's defeated Cody, he really does think he's the man. He's completely leaning into the arrogance factor, saying, I don't care about the flyweights. I don't trust anyone, basically. You're an idiot for fighting for anyone but yourself. He's already begun thinking about Max Holloway, who's the current 145 champion, and go and get 3 belts. So he is definitely overlooking Henry Cejudo here. He later admits to this. That's not me giving him a reason for why he lost. I'm not sure what would have happened, but this weight cut was a very scary weight cut. You could tell that TJ thought there was no possible way that I could lose this fight. He was so determined on making the weight, and he portrayed how easy it was, but the pictures show different. He paid badly for this large weight cut, and it's about to get a lot worse. To give you perspective on this, TJ fought Henry Cejudo in January of 2019. In March is when he found out about his adverse finding in his test result from USADA. He then decided to vacate his belt and release this statement here. He then releases a video in April when the public had found out that he tested positive for EPO. We learned that he's been giving a 2-year suspension from the date of his fight or the date of the adverse finding in January, which would make him eligible to fight in January of 2021.
Hard time trying to forgive myself for this, which I should have a hard time. I should have a hard time forgiving myself. I understand criticism and scrutiny coming my way. Any kind of bad light I'm bringing on my coaches, my family, my teammates. They had no... I'm sure there's a lot of other kids out there as well too. You know, it's tough. But I got to man up to what I did. I'm going to sit for the next 2 years.
He then goes on to finally do a video interview with Chael Sonnen in June of 2019.
You want to get off your chest? Anything I didn't cover? Anything I didn't ask? Are you doing this?
I mean, Is this happening? If you guys got the time, I guess.
We got the time.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the elephant in the room, you know what I mean? I'm in, I'd say, the darkest time of my life. I have a 17-month-old son, and that's been a great distraction for me. Thank goodness for him. It's a tough go.
Was that tough to walk into that press conference yesterday?
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, I haven't done any interviews. I haven't done, I've just kind of hidden away from it. There's things I've been wanting to say that I didn't because I don't want to create excuses.
Sure.
Let's start off. First and foremost, I cheated. Look, this is it. I did it. I want to be upfront with you guys.
A lot of fighters can become depressed just simply from losing alone. Now, TJ Dillashaw invested a lot into that 125-pound camp. He ended up taking an illegal substance. That's how determined and focused he was to get down to the weight and fight his best. Even if he knew he was breaking the rules, he still continued to do it anyway. Now imagine how you must be feeling the shame once you've got caught. If you've ever been drunk, for example, the next day you feel shame if you knew you did something wrong the night before. This is that magnified by maybe 1,000. There's a compounded effect of multiple things: the loss, the depression, and the criticism. The EPO, the substance taking, his own coaches didn't know, so he says so many things go into this, and his emotions. And yes, he does own up to it after a while, but I feel as though most of us would have buried our head in the sand also.
I was so into doing something that has never been done before, but was also to drop that weight class. You know, I'm a lean 135er. I wanted to drop the weight class to go 125s, and I played it off on how easy it was going to be. You know? And I pushed my body to the extreme. 6 weeks out, my body started to crash. It started to get tired. My hematocrit was crashing. I tested my hematocrit. I was down in the 30s, which I normally walk around like a 45. On the verge of becoming anemic. I decided to take something I knew I wasn't allowed to take. It's called Procrit. It is a anemia medication that would, help me not only make the weight but be myself. I own up that I cheated. I got caught, and it's a rough one, man. It's hard not to hate yourself a little bit.
I don't know if you know that. Procreate. Yeah, when you say I know exactly what that is. Active ingredient, EPOgen,
Yes.
EPO.
Yeah. I understand people that are going to ridicule me for thinking that I did it in the past, all this stuff, but I deserve that for taking that on. But just let everyone know that this is a one fight thing. I mean, I remember going, but like I said, I got thick skin. I've learned to have even thicker skin throughout my fighting career now. And I will come back and I will be champion again. I will make you that promise.
The only reason we're allowed as fans to scrutinize TJ Dillashaw is because his mistakes are in the public light because of the platform he's on. It's clearly taken him a while to get over this, take responsibility and own up to it. And it probably took him a longer time for him to have the mentality to say, look, I'm going to be the champion again. Fair play to him, but here's the thing. This is going to absolutely haunt him forever. Now that the EPO news has come to light, his post-fight press conference after his loss to Cejudo makes a lot more sense. He lost in the first round by a TKO, but look at his reaction. It's even worse than it was before in the Cruz fight. Now we understand why, because if you were doing all those things to try and make the weight, to try and win the fight, you would feel even worse taking a loss.
It sucks, man. It sucks when something's taken from you, not when you're actually beat. To get beat. Hey, congrats to Henry Cejudo. Good job, but you didn't beat me. It's a champ versus champ fight. You're going to stop the fight like that? I'm in on a single leg. He says, hey, show me something. I said, I'm okay. I'm on a single leg in a scramble. He stops punching. He's defending a single leg, and you're going to stop the fight? I worked my ass off 12 weeks. I'm about to fucking cry.
Once the USADA news came to light, I bet the loss on his record was not even a concern of his anymore. The ultimate shame he paid was probably the biggest price in this entire thing.
Welcome back, TJ. Looking forward to, or is it a day that you've been absolutely dreading? What's your thought?
I guess looking forward to. I like fight week. Fight week's that nervous energy to get out there and perform. Yeah.
You know the questions everybody wants to ask.
Oh yeah, of course.
So every interview I do, I'm going to have to talk about the suspension.
I mean, that's kind of why I was so upfront about it anyways. Getting it off your chest right away. Everything's already been said. I didn't hide behind anything. I put it all out there, and
TJ's first impression here is great. You can tell he's come to terms with the failure, the shame, the adversity, which he should do. He's had a lot of time to think about it, to work on it, to develop himself, and to mentally put it behind him, which it appears he has here. When we think about the great athletes in sports, we talk about their ability to bounce back from adversity. In this case, it's self-inflicted. Those peaks from massive dips tend to be extraordinary.
I don't really pay attention to the sport for the most part. Other than that, I'm in family life and business. They went back and drug tested me, so they keep an A and B sample. They retested all my samples from when they very first started. I think it was right after my Cruz fight. And all of them came back flying colors. So those questions are going to come. Those comments are going to be there. Those thoughts are going to be there. But it's public knowledge that, nothing's going to hinder it.
He's now at the point of not giving a damn about his reputation. He's not bothered what anyone thinks about him. He's on a mission again. He's he's back there again. He's back at the championship level in his mind. Now let's see if he performs on Saturday against Corey Sandhagen.
Told you at all, or is that the way you're viewing it?
It's definitely a #1 contender fight. This is a real title fight, to be honest. I was not very impressed with Aljamain and Jan in their last fight. Just to prove that I'm the best. I ultimately believe it, so why won't I go out there and fight the best guys? Bash for it, but I'm happy with the way I handled it, and that's all that really matters. How everyone else wants to, again, I don't go through my comments. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I think the roughest thing is just watching the weight class take off without you in it, right? I became the villain. I think pretty easily when I was fighting against Garbrandt, right? It was such an easy narrative of me being the snake. Conor McGregor made me the biggest villain you can because he's had all this power behind him, right? Anything he said was gold. And so I was this snake in the grass, and I traded teams. I was doing what you need to do to become the best in the world. Yeah, I was thinking about myself. I am in a one-man sport. Be selfish in this sport.
He's showing a lot of maturity here, and I don't mean maturity in the sense of the way he's actually handled his suspension or taking drugs in the first place. I just mean his ability to look past the negatives in his life and handle the much bigger things in life, which is your positivity, your family, your business, and how you carry yourself. So now he's in the space where he's just I know that I've always been about me, and I don't give a damn what you think. So that's a mature thing in my eyes, that just the fact that he's owning up to his personality, whether you like it or not. Not that the behavior itself is mature, because that's debatable. TJ's only problem here is that he's going to have to actually perform in the fight. In his time off, he's had 2 shoulder surgeries, significant amount of family time, created business pipelines. He's probably nursed every injury he had as a fighter, more time to train. The stress of fighting itself, he's got a free break from the stress of fighting. Him being inactive is going to be his biggest problem here. Otherwise, I personally see so many things in his favor. Now, going back to the original slide, the question is, everyone loves a comeback story, but will we love this one? I just want to say thank you so much for watching. This was such a hard video to make. I really appreciate all of you watching this. If you could please like this video, comment on your thoughts. If there's anything I've missed, if there's anything I'm completely off about, please subscribe to the channel, support the channel. Just want to say I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the fight tomorrow. If you haven't seen my last video on Conor McGregor, please check the description link. I will post a link in there. Thank you so much.